Good evening, Free Enterprise, and welcome to the Monday Night Community Race. We have the Black Mage Revolt, where the Black Mages decided we're tired of doing the work. We're tired of casting the nukes and being leveled to ridiculous levels to do so, and they're taking the night off. I'm Bad Karma. I'm in the booth with a PK of 4787. We've got Gambit 017 doing the restream, and we've got Ike here doing the tracking tonight. And we've got starting Rose. PK, how are you doing?
I'm looking forward to an interesting flag set. Yeah, there are no black mages, and we're hunting at least 4 of these 5 bosses. So this could be quick. It could be some incredibly rude position bosses, and then the shopping looks pretty interesting as well.
Yeah, with S Wild on, we're going to see a wide range of things available in the shops, but will our runners be able to afford any of it? Because we do have the Cell Quarter flag on along with T Standard. So probably, there's loot out there, but are we going to be able to buy a whole lot? Probably not. But we do have free characters. So with, anybody who can cast black magic not available, we're going to be seeing a lot of berserking, a lot of blinking. So hopefully with these free characters, our runners will be able to find who they want to fill out their party.
Yeah, you have essentially your pick of the litter, excluding the black mages. You very well might be able to purchase some weapon of real value. The T standard is max tier 6, so I wouldn't be surprised if we saw maybe some trap chests, maybe some hunting for, because I'm going to assume we're going to see a Cecil here, Kane. Just the weapons that we really want are the one thing that would be on my list that I'm looking for in loot as far as this seed's going to go.
Yeah, and with adamant armors available, trap chests would definitely be, if I was in this race, where I'd be trying to make sure I was strong enough to take on.
Definitely. Adamant armors would be nice. These boss hunts, the longer you go without finding any of your 5 bosses, the more you get concerned about some people in chat already bringing it up, but some bosses on the Giant, some bosses at the Yogo Pogo spot. S Wild, maybe you'll get Cyrus, maybe you won't. Maybe we'll have a rude hook route, but at least for the time being, you still get 5 characters in your party, and there are plenty more of them scattered throughout the overworld than usual.
Who of our runners, we've got, Cubs Rule, Harumph, Warlink, and Ryman here on the restream. We have a number of runners out there. We don't have dupe characters turned off. So what's the over-under, chat, on multiple Cecil parties here tonight?
I do love 2 Cecils. One, a defense Cecil and an offense Cecil, or depending on what you have, just full offense Cecils. And they are off. Keep in mind there are some bonus characters on the overworld. So I am curious, because there's no free key items. So we are also hunting that demist. But we might see people heading right on over to just grab whatever characters they can find.
Starting hook with this double white mage start. Now, granted, like you said, free characters are available. So Watery Pass, Basidia, Ordeals, all going to have some characters for these white mages to get picked up. But we also get the hook, which is another character check in some gated shops.
Yeah, it's some more shops. It's definitely it's a good quantity of loot, although with T standard it isn't that, or is it? No, it's not going to be better loot anywhere than anywhere else, correct?
I think it does have a higher chance for some of the tier 5, tier 6 items, like Sirens will be in the gated shops. Quite possibly. I don't know, it's been a while since I've done T standard myself, but we've got immediate divergence.
Yeah, everyone picking up various characters.
We've got Sid here, Watery Pass for Rybon. Cubs Rule is diving for treasure early in Castle Ebland. Duplicate
I haven't seen too much. We've got 2 Sids, 2 Porums in case one breaks down. But with these free characters and with these flags, probably not exactly who you're hoping to get right out of the gate. But we still have a few more checks left.
Yeah, we do have Rybin's heading over to Dempsey and going to probably do some looting there. Looks like Harumph following right along. Warling's checking out some shops here in Mysidia after picking up that Sid and Porum. Cubs, I still don't think Cubs has really found anything that would make me, really happy about being in Castle Evelyn.
It's certainly a gamble. You really hope to pull one or two things before you run out of lucrative areas, considering there are 3 trap chests in there. However, anything might help to get through 1 or 2 fights here. And knowing about that hook route, I would, in my head, I'm strongly already considering going to Castle Evelyn before diving into the cave, just maybe to try to pull some XP and some nice weapons from those trap chests.
Edge in Castle Damsian, just hanging out, waiting for our runners to go find him.
Well, that certainly is going to speed up your overworld. That's also going to give you access to all the sirens that you want. So that is one thing that you don't have to with this S quarter and the S Wild. That eliminates one thing I think that I would be putting out too much gold to get my hands on.
Agreed, and that's, like you said, going to be speeding up some of these overworld bosses. There is some nice loot there. That was a black belt. Rump and Rybon both found in the Damsian treasury. But the Edge is really just going to take out the need for some of that extra looting. Edge can really clear out most of the overworld on its own, especially if you can find some long blades in one of the shops.
Yeah, and we are not playing with the Neki flag, at least from what I can tell from a quick glance at the flags. So that Edge will come much better equipped than if that flag had been on. So already with the black belt, already with a headband or bandana and 2 short swords means, Edge is going to be fast and he's going to hit plenty hard to get through some of these overworld checks.
I did want to point out one of the comments from Lord Goober. 2 Porums is a black mage with that twin cast.
It's true. You don't have the advantage of drawing off Palom's wisdom stat, but you do have the ability to get those casts. And it looks like Harump also found a full moon, so that's a back row and an upgraded weapon for that Edge, who we do see Harump sticking right there in the center. You do want your fastest character out there in the middle for at least the foreseeable future until that hook route.
Yeah, agility, manipulation, a big part of free enterprise. In this early overworld, fast is better. Kind of really outspeed some of these slower bosses, and then later on switch to maybe that Sid can hold down the middle to let that speedy Edge outdo it. Hey, there's a bard.
Well, the spoon flag is turned on, and with the limited selection that you have, as much as we're talking about 2 Porums being a black mage, this might even be one of those seeds where you kind of hope to run into an eddy weapon, or you hope to run into that spoon early, because right now it's looking like you're just going to be leaning very heavily on that Edge.
Well, and one thing that Cubs did find in Castle Evelyn was a suit of crystal armor, so can sell that for a pretty penny with an Artemis bow available for sale in Mysidia, and samurai arrows. So that would be a really nice upgrade for that Eddie, if somebody wants to go and raise the money for that Artie bow.
Yep, and as our tracker Ikir is pointing out, there was a long sword as well on our deals. It is Witch Burn. That is quite the burn.
Oh.
Feel the burn.
Eddie made it through.
That is curious. Can you reflect that off, or are we just going to try to... Because, you're getting pretty decent damage. Rybon, with that Edge in the center, definitely hoping not to run into something like this, because most of this ordeal should be pretty easily completed. Oh, that's a clever play.
That's yeah. And Berserk is correct. I don't think that this breath can frog the wyvern in this.
And chat pointing out there was a pan as a reward from Antlion Cave, so I'm hoping to see that not pan out.
Yeah, all eventually. Of us. I know I was fixated completely on this wyvern and missed who even the boss was down there.
And well played from Rybon. It looked like moving that ruby ring offered up at least some initial respite from that breath cast. We do, however, have to burn wyvern down before he gets into his the rest of the script, which can be dangerous anywhere.
Oh, and there's a water hag guarding another Porum up on Hobbs.
Well, it looks like Gambit, our restreamer, they decided, hey, maybe we don't want everyone to have Canes and Cecils in their party on this hook route.
Porums for everyone.
Yeah, triple twin cast forums. Should be curious. We haven't seen anyone check that character down there. I don't disagree with the play, though. I would probably put that off until I'm ready to dive the hook route. If not, maybe until I have exit.
There's objective number 1, though, hanging out behind that wyvern on Ordeals. There's our Baron guards. One thing to point out, I don't remember how many runners have picked it up. Cubs Rule found a rune axe in Damsian, though.
Yeah, I saw her Rumph with that as well. I believe it's currently on one of his Sids. And having this early edge with all of Edge's gear is really allowed everyone to just scatter across the world and take on whatever they feel like.
That wyvern is going to be really interesting to see how our runners, as I pointed out, Rybon moving that ruby ring from Edward over, really saved that edge. But how are the other runners, going to pick up on that? How are they going to get through? It's going to be really interesting as the seed progresses, because they'll be going with either more levels or, more loot as well. So be really interesting, like I said, to see.
Yeah, with enough speed and enough damage output, depending on when they get there, maybe some are hoping or will be able to just destroy that wyvern before they actually have to face that breath. But that is not a fun spell to have to deal with. That is one of those, oh, it's Witchburn, this isn't a big deal. Oh, that's probably worse.
Yeah, what was we had Wyvern with Witchburn and multi-cast Holy in the Evil Wall spot, I think was a required one.
Yeah, there's been Medio, I've had Stonecast. It doesn't always, it's not always a freebie.
Darkness Crystal and Ordeals.
Okay, so that's this is always a question when it's exclusively a boss hunt. Is now that gives you access to what, 6-8 more bosses if you count the giant.
Mm-hmm.
And Rybon only needs to find 3 more to get through. Wow, okay, more things dropping.
Magma Key and Baron Inn. We've got the entire world open to us right now.
Yeah, Berserk asking, do you Mac Giant grind? I am not entirely sure what my thought process would be here. That's a Dark Knight Cecil and an immediate underground access. Granted, there are 2 bosses in that hook route you might wanna set your eyes on real quick. But if you can get Cecil a Paladin, and even just through something like the 2 dwarf fights for that 24,000-ish experience each, that would leave me at least comfortable enough to, just continue carrying on with the seed and hoping beyond hope that you pick up some real good weapon for Cecil.
Warlink is pushing through the Fabul Gauntlet at Fabul, I believe. Just showed off that Porum Twin Cast.
Yeah, this is one of those where that speed is nice to have, and then if you can't kill them off your initial character's turn, you're getting real close to having to sit through a round of punches every single time.
Yeah, interesting to note too. Ryben did not go up to the moon to check on that character, so maybe doing as you suggested, maybe waiting a little bit more so that he can check some more boss spots. But is gonna get the Cecil. Oh, there's a party rock for Warlink as well.
So that's technically one more boss to check, but a much more comfortable way of going up and checking both those bosses. That is 2 more characters on top of. We now have the Hook character, we have the Moon character, we have both Earth characters. We're getting very close to having all of our potential available options revealed outside of Baron Key and that the package. Considering we could go to Giant whenever we wanted.
Yeah, still haven't seen a Kane, still haven't seen a Yang yet. But we've seen everybody else, I believe.
And it is looking like we are going to get a chance to rate this, or eventually rate this T-Standard Max Tier 6 Treasury. But not quite yet. Oh, wow. That's already a pretty strong mini Treasury.
Oh, in a heroin robe too?
Yeah, the ninja hat and the heroin robe make me pretty happy camper.
Can Rump get through here? Needs one more hit before that nuke comes out.
Rump, I think, has the power. It's still only a 1 in 5 that, Edge is the one who takes that nuke. It's just, this has got to be frustrating.
Yeah, having to wait for all the frogs to hit. Khazrul is beginning his run at the Fabul Gauntlet at Fabul. Interesting choice for Cubs to do that, considering he has the pan.
Yeah, it's a question of, do you think the Magma Key is still out there? Do you want to dive a hook route? This is just, it's never fast this early. And with that Edge in the second spot, probably going to have to eat attacks, at least one attack from each of the enemies as you get through. This is a lot going on here. I did not see much out of the treasury, but it doesn't look like there was very much out of that treasury from...
Was not. T-Standard Max Tier 6 treasury is not going to yield a whole lot. That Samurai bow is nice, and the Heroin robe and Ninja hat, which weren't even from the treasury.
No, and let's see. It looks like Harumph did get a mute cast off on the guards. That will prevent them from using either of their counters, which is nice. Also throwing out a cheeky Dark Gas from Dark Knight Cecil. Which I will admit, I had no idea what it did for the longest time, and then I was too afraid to figure it out until I saw someone use it.
Just some casual, AoE damage. Cecil doing what he can until he gets a little stronger. One thing I did.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say one thing I did see while Warlink was doing some shopping. He found some hourglasses in one of the shops in Troya. While expensive, could be really useful if there's going to be some sort of Mac Giant or Gold Dragon grind later on.
Yeah, that Edge gives you access to stealing sirens, and depending on who your party is and how much damage you can put out, eggs, Gold Dragons do give more XP, but if you don't have a weak caster or you don't have the correct weaponry, it can take longer than it's worth. But a lot available now from a grind standpoint.
Yeah, and it looks like we're going to be getting the 2 bosses down in the Fey March checked out, as well as the Fey March freebie chest. Case Summon is not on, so we're not going to be seeing, a rude Leviathan fight or anything like that that's going to be hindering our runners.
Well, and Rybon in true pro free enterprise runners strats is Faded Antlion. It doesn't have the pan, but now has something better.
Oh, that crystal sword in the Feymarch freebie chest is a huge pickup. With Bacchus wine in the item shop.
Yeah, a couple Bacchus will definitely speed things along, but once Cecil gets a little XP, I think I'm not considering an actual dedicated grind anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. I know that it would be probably a little tough, but I think with this edge, and I think maybe even a crystal sword Cecil, I think you could probably get through Dwarf Castle.
Oh, Dwarf Castle Dwarf 1 shouldn't be that big of a deal. I mean, it always depends on the fight, but that's 10,000 damage. Once you're through that, though, you will have your Rose is going to have Berserk. Your Cecil's probably actually getting slingshotted off that 20k unless we find something else more free. Huh.
There's our Demas.
Demas and Octomom, not for me right now.
Here, we're going to give you this fantastic Holy Sword, and also the bosses hanging out here are the Holy Resistant bosses.
Yeah, and that Octomom, I mean, if you can get 5 to 7 hits off on that Octomom, you should be able to get through. But those punches are going to hurt way more than you can defend yourself against for the time being.
Now, I'm curious, Cubs is the only one who's been to Castle Evelyn, I believe, and found that crystal armor. I don't know if he kept it or not. That could be really helpful later on if we have to take on the Demas.
Yeah, the Demas in that spot isn't super fast as far as time to complete that fight. But I mean, the fact that you get a couple turns off in between, it's certainly something that if the Demas was in the other spot, that might be something I'm just going to put off and pray it doesn't lead to anything of value. With those two bosses, if you have a Thunderclaw, it might be something you consider, but I believe Rybon is maybe following what I would consider in this moment, which is try to get that slingshot XP on Cecil here.
Yeah, it does look like he's going to be going and giving Dwarf 1 a shot here, putting the black belt over on Cecil.
And this is, that Bacchus wine is nice, but never hang on to it too long. Don't play it like when I get elixirs in Final Fantasy games and end up never having used one throughout the entire duration of it. Just always waiting for the exact right time to use it. This is me here. I'm chugging that wine as soon as Edge gets a turn. This is the fight. This is the fight you need to win as quickly as possible.
Oh, if
Dwarf
this
2
is,
you can get through.
If this is Mylon Z.
Oh, that might be a bad day.
That'd be a bad day for Mylon Z, that is for sure.
Or is it DJ Mylon throwing a dance party in the crystal room? Oop, guess not.
Did want to point out, Cubs did get through the Wyvern. Warlink got the breath attack, so we'll see how Warlink adjusts. Harumph is going down to the pan, though.
Yeah, let's see if there is eventual value from this Antlion Cave. That is one place Rybon has not been. It looks like Warlink also has not been.
Just a defense sword, but that is because Case Summon is not on. Wanted to note too, Ryven got Rosa and Cecil slingshots out of that fight. Those are the two Sids in the edge. Hey, there's another Sid.
Well, yeah, not the hodgepodge of Cecils and Canes that we initially pitched, but that Cecil, base level Cecil hitting that Mylon Z for quad 9s has got to be a good feeling.
Mm-hmm. And now that Rosa has Berserk, so Mom Bomb, not the boss you want to see when you want to just get a quick kill, but I think Edge and Cecil will probably be able to take this down.
Yeah, and this is definitely one of those areas where, this is why I think you see a lot of people route this in as soon as they're underground. Is even, a Mom Bomb, maybe in the first fight might have found yourself a little troublesome, but you get 48k from there. If it wasn't Mom Bomb here, you get another 22-ish thousand XP, and that's really all you need, at least when it's Rosa, Cecil, and not Porum and Kane that you're going to be relying on for your damage going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And Warlink is through. So all 4 runners have gotten through that Breath Wyvern on ordeals. And Warlink will be getting objective number 1 done as Harumph is still making through his underground check's going to be getting his Crystal Sword.
Yeah, and this will be interesting. I mean, we have 4 runners here on the broadcast. There are, I believe, 15, 16 runners total in this race. And given it's all boss hunts, we've seen Earth Crystal. None of our runners have done that. None of our runners have gone to the moon. There are just so many places you could or could not go right now. Just depending on if the mood struck you.
Yeah, one thing to note, Harumph just found Curse Ring. I don't think Ryban checked this shop, so found Curse Ring there in the Feymarch armor shop. Did drop some money to get that. So agility will be all sorted out. I'm sure that Sid will be the proud recipient of that. There was Ninja Blades as well in the weapon shop in the Feymarch if can't find any Hanzo Steel for Edge.
I've definitely, in trying to buy Ninja Blades on seeds like this, spent a good 1.5 to 2 minutes going through my inventory, deciding what it is I can liquidate. Not getting there, going back, trying to liquidate further. Those things are phenomenal weapons for Edge, considering they're the best weapon for Edge you're going to find in a shop, but the 60,000 plus price tag does not make them an easily acquirable item.
Definitely does not spark joy. Ryban, though, heading to the top of tower. This is going to be a good information trip for Ryban. Going to be able to see who the Rubicante boss is.
Yeah, this is going to be another little chunk of XP as well, potentially before heading to the moon, or maybe back down to the Feymarch. And I actually initially thought maybe Ryban was running in there just to steal some sirens and then, peace out and try to get a few levels that way, which I think we might see some of our runners do as well.
Yeah, I noticed Harumph does have a couple of coffins, so that would be some really quick XP. Harumph, though, is going to complete the Sheila 1, Sheila 2 turn in, so going to be picking that up as well. Has Fabul taken care of already.
And Carice TV in chat, Ryban did not give that bow back to Rosa, but my guess would be he is feeling relatively comfortable with only 2 damage dealers, essentially, particularly when one of those is Crystal Sword Cecil. I think, that heroine robe that we saw, I would only consider at this point mostly for defense.
Yeah, and I totally space. Harumph has not done the Fabul defense, doing the single dip Fabul. So Harumph is getting started on the gauntlet. Meanwhile, we have Cubs Rule is heading up the Tower of Zot, going to get 2 boss checks taken care of there.
Yeah, we have only seen 1. We've eliminated. We've seen 5 Underworld boss checks. So the spots are slowly starting to diminish. As a free enterprise runner, I never actually remember who gave us the starting key item, so I cannot rule that out for being in Baron. Maybe you recall.
Being a free enterprise commentator, I definitely forgot the instant I saw 2 white mages show up and was more focused on that.
Maybe if anyone in chat saw, they can help us out. Otherwise, well, we'll see when or if a Baron key makes its makes itself known to us. But so these are 2 more boss checks we're gonna have, and then there are 6 bosses waiting on the moon, 2 in the giants. There are 2 in that hook route. Given that we don't have very many key items right now, there are still a lot of places for runners to go just exclusively looking for bosses.
Yeah, there's a package, another character check, and another boss. Probably not going to be seeing that one checked just because we do only need the 4 out of 5 unless somebody wants to be really, really in there. Oh, Magus Sisters is an objective, is our Baron boss. Thank you, Ikir, our tracker, for keeping us honest on that one.
So that is some bonus knowledge that hopefully our runners retain better than we did. And it looks like, I mean, for me, when we have 4 people that we get to watch and we know it's just a boss hunt, I just want everybody to scatter to the 4 corners. And so hopefully Warlink is headed on up to the moon as we see Cubs Rule dealing with these dark imps. Not too difficult to get through, but also not one of these 4 remaining bosses we're looking for.
Yeah, hoping to find some value here in the second spot is going to be able to get the knowledge of the Mom Bomb in the Dwarf Castle spot 2. So that'll be good info for Cubs as he starts to make his plan of how he wants to route in. He has not gone to Baron Inn yet, so does not have that magma key.
Yeah, and Rybon, we're seeing the Sheila checks right now, so we'll see if this Antline Fade will pay out, as it looks like Sheila 2 gave that tower key.
It did. So 2 more bosses available to Harumph now.
So Luca, tower key, still more underground checks that we can make for bosses. That essentially eliminates the underground boss checks if you're willing to dive all the way down to that Luca cave.
Yeah, and Warlink is doing some shopping. Saw something in Fabul that he wanted to get. Oh, sirens, but you have an edge.
Well, if you can buy them, it's not always the worst idea. It's a little faster than heading up, but if you're in the tower already, depending on how many sirens you want, you can always grab 2. But with the amount of money, I think it looks like, still sitting at 30,000 gold.
Yeah, the seed has been really generous with items to sell. I think we've seen charm rods sold by number of runners. Those are pretty hefty. Warlink has not gone underground, so does not have his crystal sword yet. We'll see when he decides to go down there, but it looks like Warlink may be gearing up for some sort of grind, though, by getting those sirens right after getting the moon access.
Yeah, and their Cecil, I believe, it looked like maybe it was still at base level. So if you're really looking for a slingshot, you have a couple options.
Our first Kane, though, there at the top of Tower Zot in the vanilla spot. Somewhere Dathis is chuckling with Kane there in that spot.
Hey, double Kane.
Wow. Who wanted all Canes and Cecils?
Yeah, well, we've got some now. It is curious. I don't think we've seen anyone even so much as check the character or that hook boss.
Nope. Neither of our runners here on the restream have gone to check that character. Rybun knows that it was not an objective boss. It was the other guard's fight. It came to me eventually.
Okay.
Cubs still has not gone to Baron Inn, so took one of those canes. Did not take 2.
And this is so as far as the boss hunt goes, Earth Crystal not required.
See what the key item is.
The moon just beckons.
Oh yeah, because the only boss, we had the Baron Key we know is required. So if this is Baron Key, that's going to be really huge for Cubs because he'll be able to route in Baron and right into Baron Castle right after this. And that will be a real big pickup for him as he's been the only one to go through Zot right now.
Yeah, so obviously eyes out for that Baron Key. That would be convenient as it's one of them is there, and then still 2 more boss checks. We only need 4 out of 5, so depending on where the rest of these are positioned, there could be better or worse paths to getting that crystal, just depending on where it turns up, where these people show up and where they don't show up.
Cubs getting through by the skin of his teeth. Everybody sitting at 0. Warlink popped an egg. While we got some battle music going, we have a couple runners. Looks like they're heading up Zot. I do want to do a shout out again to Ikir, our tracker, Gambit, our restreamer, making everything look good. Ikir pushing all the buttons. Everything looks great. PK, as always, very fun to do commentary with you. So if you haven't done so, please give the restream team a follow. Also, give our runners a follow. They've been putting on a really good race for us with all the divergence going on. So definitely give them a follow as well.
Yeah, indeed. Happy to be here. I can't stress enough how disappointed I am that no one has gone to the moon yet. Because as somebody who is the most contrary runner when it comes to large group races, the minute I saw that darkness and once I got that Crystal Sword Cecil, it's beckoning to me right now, at least.
Yeah, but we are going to see that is paying off to do these Zot checks. That was a pass. That was the key item for completing Zot. So big pickup there. Not helping our runners now in their boss hunt, but if they end up with their last one here on Earth, it'll be a good way to get right to Zeromus.
Yeah, going through there, the Canes. Now that we have Crystal Sword Cecil in this edge, the Canes I could take or leave. The pass at least makes it sort of like a net neutral as far as time commitment for what you just said. So you definitely don't feel bad. You got nothing out of the treasury, but you did get a nice shiny trip directly to Zeromus out of it.
Yeah, and one thing to remember too, the reward for turning in the pan to the Sylph Cave was a defense sword. So taking one of those canes is probably not the worst idea.
A great weapon for Kane. And I mean, the parties are starting to form out pretty well. All things considered, would you rather have the Cid as your anchor and just Rosa on White Mage duties, or would you be more interested in holding on to one of those Porums as well?
I think me personally, I'm comfortable with just the Rosa. Especially because, like you said earlier, we're probably not going to be doing a deep grind with all these physical fighters. This is going to be Zerk up and go. We have Bacchus ones available. They're deep in the Feymarch, but they are available. So I think just getting those Zerkers swinging, have Kane be had Cid be your anchor, get an edge, maybe another Cecil shows up, but a Kane with a defense sword, definitely good enough.
Yeah, good damage. There's plenty of strength boosting gear that we've seen out and about. I don't know. I'm curious what all of our runners choose. Is you have all of these options available. For me, if we didn't already have Crystal Sword Cecil, I would definitely probably strongly be more in Kane's defense now. But with Edge, with Crystal Sword Cecil, it's sort of a tough call. Like Harumph with that curse ring, I want to keep that Cid, because he can just sit there in the middle for the rest of the game. And in the back of my mind, I'm already just plotting, how is my Zeromus fight going to go? And if I can get 2 Zerk casts off as quickly as possible, that might be more for me than, having to go back and get all of that wine. But I don't think either one is actually, correct or incorrect at this point.
Yep, and it looks like we've got some, party divergence though. Harumph not taking the cane, whereas Ryben did take the cane and drop that Porum. So we'll see how the rest of our parties do shake out. It looks like Warlink saw the bosses and says, nope, I am out of here. do not blame him. Even with just a couple of Siren kills, do not blame him for not wanting to take these fights on right now.
Yep, and Harumph also squeaks by. The plague in this spot is a real catches you off guard. It's like plague in the back attack spot, particularly because you're usually still set up as Harumph is with your fastest person in the center, which almost anyone besides plague there would be correct. But with plague, you really got to get your damage out quickly.
Interesting. Cubs Rule went back into Castle Eblin once those trap chests. And Warlink, I think, is gearing up to take on one of these bosses.
Yeah, Samurai Heroine Robe. Plenty of damage will be coming out. You would hope that we have better arrows. Or maybe just took the Heroine Robe off. I'm not sure what they're aiming for here.
I saw him take the Crystal Sword off of Cecil and put the Rune Axe on.
Oh, okay. Oh, and then the Heroine Robe just went back on. I guess maybe that was just a miss menu. This is curious. I mean, the Rune Axe would make me think we're going for D-Mist. Who?
Yeah.
This is a very doable fight. This is one of those without Black Mages. You can do some dangerous strats where I consider here potentially throwing Zerks out after the first mist phase. But if you don't get enough damage off, then you find yourself looking like a fool, which I have done on more than my fair share of free enterprise races.
I mean, I haven't seen you do a PK in a race while I was commentating. Oh, Cubs Rule just found a Crystal Sword in Eblin, so Cubs definitely looking for a second Cecil for sure.
Yeah, and we have more checks to make. I don't think anyone has gone up. Has anyone gone to the Lunar Dais?
No one's gone to the moon yet. Ryben is now heading to Antline, getting his pan.
You got to commit. You got to commit to the fade. That will be a little consternation from Ryben, having already done Sheila 1, and now realizing that this pan has been here the whole time.
Is going to get rewarded with the defense sword for his cane, though, so that will be beneficial, but that's not the only good cane weapon out there. We do also have the Super Smith flag turned on, so if we do find that legend sword to go with that adamant rock that Ryben's found somewhere, I have no idea where he found that, then could get a decent weapon for cane out of that as well.
Yeah, and there are plenty of rewards and trap chests and everything else. It's a curious hand in considering what routing we've seen from Ryben so far, which he has already done the super cannon or lower Babel. So getting the tower key and a pan when you've already done the tower and you've already done the Sheila 1 check from Antlion might smart a little bit, just as far as considering your routing.
Yep, and it's going to dive Luca, so we'll get this key item check as well as this boss. See who's hanging out here at the bottom of the sealed cave.
Did they all make an agreement before not to go to the moon just to punish me, just to leave me in suspense?
It's not outside of the realm of possibility, as Ryben had to deal with the rope boss there. They could have had, I didn't see anything in the race room that was, coming to that agreement. But maybe they didn't notice that you're not in the race PK and that you're just talking about it.
I want the moon. It's calling. I want a giant play. Maybe just waiting for 10 key items, which, is a respectable choice. They're starting to get up there in their key item counts. But there's so many boss hunts just sitting out there waiting.
Yeah, with Harumph at 7 and Ryben's at 8, 9 potentially with turning in that pan.
And Harumph just grabbed some sirens. Also, will probably keep that key item out of Asura also has the tower key to do, so this is a double check for Harumph, and some new information when we see that tower key come into play. I did not see what we had here in the Luca cave, but it doesn't look like it's up to Riven's standards.
Just a sand ruby. Doesn't need another character check, and it's not a boss that he wants. Cubs is turning in the pan, though.
So there's that defense sword. Kane will eventually start doing damage. It isn't as immediate as Crystal Sword Cecil as far as being able to just immediately throw out damage. And Warlink is still on this demist fight. Should be close to getting through. But this is sort of the double-edged sword of when you want to take a fight like this is, you're going to get 2 key item checks out of it. But when do you get the damage? When do you get frustrated and just zerk up Cecil or Edge and take your swings? There's not too much damage that you need to bleed through in here. But if the wrong people get hit, it's a frustrating fight if you end up just slightly behind where you want to be.
Yeah, but it does look like he is pretty safe right now. Has the blinks up, has Cecil, not berserk, so getting the cover strats off as well. So we'll get through the fight, just as you said, slow. This is a lot of HP to get through. But if the Baron key is behind this demist, that's going to be one boss objective that Warlink will be up on.
Yeah, the early Fey March play is one, in a large group race is always one that you consider, just strictly because you would assume fewer people would consider taking that. So I've definitely gambled on some of these, and if it does lead to value, the feeling of how much a god you feel like at that point cannot be overestimated.
Can't see any runners up here but me.
Precisely. But yeah, that damage is unfortunate. Just from I think running into this, maybe Warlink might have thought they would get a little more damage out of this Rosa and the Cecil with the Rune Axe. Is right now Sid's hitting just as hard as everybody else on the team.
Yeah.
Which is not a great indication for how much damage you're putting out.
Yeah, in a fight that has almost 30,000. Oh, and it's down.
Just like that.
All we had to do was just talk about the damage. Riven, though, is over scrambling some eggs. Rosa already with Cure 4 for Riven, though. Not going to be worried about... Oh, there's an Avenger for Warlink.
Yeah, that's a fun little pickup. I might have even considered trying out that Octo fight with that. Just start with this Avenger on Cecil and just try to get through a couple hits. But Crystal Sword Avenger is a fun little pairing.
Yeah, and it looks like Riven is finishing up the Sheila check, so he's going to be sitting at 9 key items. The question will be, he doesn't really have anywhere else to check on Earth, though, so I would assume Moon's got to be his next play. Unless he wants to go back for the Tower Key. Yeah,
the Tower Key, these Fey March fights would be the only things that remain for Rybon. I know I have, just given the route and what Rybon has already done, if this is me trying to win a 16-person race and I see that Tower Key, there's part of me that says to myself, well, it's too late now. I got to go do something else, whatever.
But it looks like Moon is the play for Riven. Not even going to turn in. Oh, no, is just going to save.
Yeah, setting up the save in case this doesn't yield a key item. This will be the most puzzling key item to turn up right here, though.
And what does Demas have for us? Was all that time worth it for Warlink?
Oh.
It was. That was some huge value for Warlink, especially if one of the other bosses is on the Baron throne or in the basement.
Yeah, so Baron doesn't necessarily have to be required yet, considering we only need to clear 4 out of these 5 bosses. But this is one guaranteed boss, as well as you said, BK. 2 more unknowns that you can at least check off the list. And that is something that it's great knowledge to possess, because that's could be the difference between diving the giants and, going back and trying to take that Octomom.
When at this point in the race, we're 46 minutes in. You can go to the moon and start checking all the density. When do you check that hook route boss? When do you check that king queen spot?
It's a tough one to consider. I'm trying to keep track in my head when I run races like this of how many bosses I can't face check. And, there's a sort of a diminishing return to even so much as taking encounters versus face checking. Right now, there are 8 up on the moon. You're only missing Twin Harp and Baron Key for someone like Ryban, as far as actual boss checks are concerned. So there's always the potential strategy of, you know what, let's just face check all of this and pray I get through. And then if you're at 10 key items or 9 key items at the end of it, maybe you go for the giant, and that's just the 500,000 experience you need to get yourself in go mode.
There's Ruby and the tower key.
Oh, so we are beginning to narrow it down. Well done from Ryban. As I said, I probably would have stubbornly just not gone and taken it as a counter, and that's paying out immediately.
Yeah, so Warlink has also faded Antlion. So has made the play, but we know that pan leads to that Rubicante. So it'll depend really where that Golbez and D-Lunar is and how long Warlink will fade that pan.
Yeah, so Warlink now checking off Magus Sisters. 2, we've got 3 bosses found. So this is the question is, when it's 4 or 5, there obviously can be different paths to go mode. If Baron doesn't hold a second boss, then that D-Mist fight into that Baron isn't necessarily required, but could be the fastest route to get your crystal, depending on where these other 2 bosses happen to be hiding.
It's not the Baron Throne, that's a CPU.
Is this like the branches of U.S. government running Baron right now?
It does feel that way. They went from a monarchy to words are hard.
3 equal but distinct branches of government, but I mean, I think we could all argue which one is the CPU and which one's the attacker, which one's the defender. Depends on the year, I think.
Yeah, but Ryban found the Legend Sword, not talking about politics, gonna get his Supersmith weapon. We'll see if it is something useful for his party or not.
Yeah, it has the potential to be huge value, or the Flan. Which I have no idea what that one does. I would assume it looks like maybe it's the Cecil sword that is not better than a crystal sword.
I would need
someone to.
Somebody in chat can correct me if I'm wrong. I think it actually may be an upgrade for Kayn, though. I believe Kayn can wield the Flan sword. And that could be, if Ryban has any sirens left, could summon Pink Puffs.
Strange blacksmiths in the bottom of the underworld is no basis for a system of overpowered weapons.
Not today, it's not. What is down in the bottom of Baron? Is it the harp? It is. The boss checks. I believe Warlink now has access, through the pan to every boss.
Yeah, the Twin Harp will certainly allow us, and this Baron check will allow us to narrow down the possibilities of where these bosses could be. And now we see Rybon making the trip. Unless that Twin Harp... Oh, So close, not the leg we needed.
Oh, not the leg. But Warlink probably jumped a little bit, though, seeing that sprite.
Yep, so if this harp happens to have one of the 2 remaining bosses, then that demist is 100% required. But if that harp doesn't, we can narrow down, technically Rybon with the package in hand won't need to do that Baron.
Yep, and Warlink, though, is going to continue to follow this chain, going to check on this harp. Rybon is on the moon, going to be giving us a look at cave value. Is it one of our last 2 required bosses? It is not. And that is not a fight I would want.
No, that's not fun. That would be a no for me, even if I still needed key items.
That fight does not spark joy. No.
I think, this is a question in the math that you can run the numbers again for Rybon. Does know that Baron Key holds one of the bosses, 2 other bosses remaining, but only three bosses that you can't peek now. So there's always the question of when can you start window shopping as opposed to when do you need to keep hunting for key items.
Yeah, and until Warlink does that pan and gets those 2 keys, he's got to still kind of do these checks and go through them. He can't just, window shop. Same with Rybon. There's second Cecil. Cubs will be very happy to see that whenever he gets up to the moon. Having the only one with 2 crystal swords.
And we do see Cubs sniffing out this potentially required demist. So it could be an advantage. We'll see for Rybon. You really want to hope that it's not maybe something like the package. Because if there are 2 of them planted here, the time it takes to do all of that Baron, demist, etc. might give you a slight advantage. But, it's music time.
Wow.
What a thing of beauty.
Yeah, paying off big time for Warlink, being the first of our restream runners to take out the demons, follows the chain and finds 2 hard or required bosses behind that. Our other runners are probably going to find Golbez somewhere on the moon, and we'll only have to get through Baron Guards, but it's going to be a while for some of these runners, I think.
Yeah, this is a hilariously guarded Baron key. So no more key item checks really matter. We've essentially seen everything but the tails as it is. It is a bonus key item for Warlink at the end of that as well in the spoon. But if you're in face check mode and you come up 2 bosses short, then you got to start clearing the entirety of the seed. So this is a real tough call for someone like Rybon now.
Yeah, and this is going to be full clearing the moon, looking for that. May get some other checks as well. Rumpf as well is going to be making the dive into the moon. Did somebody say that they found an adamant armor on the Murasame altar?
Yeah, the reward from karate at the Mura altar was an adamant armor, which should, speed up Raibon's potential full clearing of this moon. But we know that you have to do that Demist. You don't have to do the harp. So it is non-required twin harp, but certainly probably helpful to have done before going to the moon.
Right. So Warlink is Antlion from Go mode. Getting that pan, getting that tower key. I don't think Warlink has done the top of tower. He doesn't have the package.
No, I don't see that package in hand. So, well, required Antlion Cave and/or required Baron. Not my two favorite things to see in a seed.
Plus, where's Golbez gonna be hiding for these runners? We've got King Queen here. Is this the ribbon room or is this White Spear?
This is White Spear. That is another curious question, because if they don't find anyone, I could certainly see them making a giant play. Particularly Raibon, still hunting 3 bosses. If we don't find any here, you have to assume, hey, maybe the giant's stacked, and elements or CPU Golbez is just going to be moderately slow, but certainly doable with these teams.
More vanilla, though, with a White Spear as the reward for the White Spear altar. Here's the Doctor of the Dialogue.
And this leaves 2 boss checks for Golbez on the moon, leaving Golbez to be either at the package or the giant.
Or King Queen.
Oh, also true, yeah. I forgot about that pesky little hook route.
Yeah, because we know that it's the bear or the Kaipo guards in the ruby spot. All right,
oof. Yep, sorry.
I was gonna say Cubs is coming up to CPU, gonna be getting his twin harp. We'll see if he decides to follow it. Harumph is stopping to do some sorcerers, some warlocks.
Yep, if you can get a mute cast or a mute bell off in time, and you have something like that rune axe, this is one of the grinds that slowly became a little more popular than it was originally, because without hourglasses, you don't want to take those gold dragon fights. This is a good chunk of XP you can get from one of those floors of the moon.
Yeah, that is really nice to see, our runners doing some more varied grinds and stuff like that, taking advantage of some of the power that we've found in this seed already, not needing to do full-blown grinds to get to the levels that they feel comfortable taking on Z. They know that they're going to be doing some more bosses as well. Moon coming up empty so far, just more gear for Raibon.
Well, there aren't many key items left. We don't know what that Octomom is holding or that Baron Basement, but we've only not seen the 2 tails, I believe.
No spoon yet. Oh no, we have a spoon. Warlink has a spoon.
He came from the harp jack.
Yeah, we haven't seen the tails, so they're up here, but we don't have case summon on, so they've got to be up here on the moon.
Oh, we don't have Kate. Okay, shows how much I know about it.
Hey, no, it just made your moon play make more sense. There's our Golbez. Somebody predicted it. Lord Goober did.
This is one of my favorite Golbez locations, because the first time you get Golbez here, you think to yourself, okay, my team's pretty strong. That lit 3, maybe I can slink past 1 lit 3. And then the lit 3 hits for 6,500 damage.
Well, with With Crystal Sword, Adamant Armor, Cecil, probably not going to be too worried about this as long as Cecil doesn't get the death.
Cecil, I believe, has that adamant armor. I mean, with the adamant armor on, Cecil's fine.
Mm-hmm.
You are pleased to have that Bacchus wine, so you can still Zerk the Cecil, but you don't even really need to with the Crystal Sword, and we'll see who else gets hit by one of these spells. I'm hoping some people get hit, just so I can just to show how much pain you can have to take here without something like an adamant armor. Yeah. That's a virus for 4,800.
Ooh, just a casual 4,800 on that ninja. Cubs does not know it yet, but he is technically in go mode, turning in this pan.
Yeah, hopefully remains methodical about the routing. Here I was, talking up the moon, talking about going to the moon, getting that moon done, and then obviously, of course, the moon is the least required of anything in this entire seed.
Yep, not hard required moon at all. It's going to be a little bit quicker. Won't have to do the harp check. That rat tail will probably lead Ryben back after checking. I mean, obviously he's only got one check left, so he's going back to Earth. But where will Ryben go?
Is he going back to Earth, though?
Yeah,
I've said how how stubborn I am as a runner when I commit to something, and if this was me, probably would head to the Giant right now.
Cubs is heading to Cave Magnus, gonna be turning in that harp. Warlink continuing the Antlion fade.
You commit to the bit. I'd love to see it. Not, with the information we have, but eventually, well, doesn't technically
need it.
Yeah.
He can go right down to that Mursam or that Masamune altar and fight Golbez and get his crystal, and then swag walk it in.
Yeah, exactly. That's just Fade Antlion. Easy. I do love this Mylon Z. As we were talking about, this spot could potentially be dangerous, and then just the one tap. Quick swing.
Could have been dangerous if it was Mylon and Friends, since that Mylon does not fear the Crystal Sword as much as his counterpart. Just a casual Dark Elf here at the Crystal Sword altar, though. Crystal Sword will also make short work of.
Yeah, the news will be here for Rybon. The question is, I mean, you have that rat tail turn in. Maybe you want to do that, but then you're really stuck to taking that Demist or praying that one of those fights is on the Giant.
And to point out too, we have 4 runners here on our restream. We have 16 runners total in this race. No one has finished yet. There's another Adamant Armor for Ryben, though.
Not the worst thing to get from your troubles.
Probably his next stop. Probably.
So yeah, the rat tail could conceivably lead to that Baron key. Given, as you said, it's K-Main Moon. Once this rat tail does not give the Baron key, you do know that it has to be that Demist.
Right.
And you do, I guess, if you were clever, unlike either of us, and you recalled that you saw the Magnus sisters giving you that first key item, maybe you do just beeline it right there. I don't think Rybon really needs much more experience to be in go mode, so the path to go mode at least is potentially there for Rybon.
Yeah. We're over here talking over the second round of music, by the way.
Oh, no. And it's done.
So Cubs Rule is technically in go mode. He has everything he needs to finish. Warlink also is in go mode. We know where Golbez is now, sitting at the Masamune altar.
So this is, we have some questions now, because what do you think is your potential fastest play? Maybe didn't notice the Magus sisters. Looks like moving the hook over for potential king queen.
Yeah, so may not have noticed it, or could be hoping that maybe D Lunars is down there. Gonna be checking some of these other spots.
Oh, this is always a feeling. Going to Hobbs, realizing you haven't actually checked that character yet. Sort of a sigh of relief, but also one of those.
Right. Cubs seems to have wanted something out of a shop here. All right,
like
this... Yep, this is it.
Okay.
Heading to the Demas for Ryban. I gotta suspect that's what that is. Harumph has found the Golbez, is poisoning his team, or no, is already poisoned, trying to cure it up. Has not found the Golbez yet, is about to.
One of the two. Might regret getting rid of that poison. Although maybe, I'm not sure if they got that adamant armor.
I'm not sure. We'll probably find out here in a little bit.
Alright, maybe he went Ribbon Room first. But Rybon, it does look like, has sort of unraveled the riddle of where all the remaining key items have to be. So this is going to come down to there's still some options available. But we do have, as far as the runners go, Cubs. The sooner Cubs gets to that Crystal Sword altar, or not the Crystal Sword altar, the Masa altar, the better for them.
Mm-hmm.
And Rybon, I have to assume, is planning on, following this chain to go mode, and we'll get to skip that music at least.
Yep, and is just going to try and get through this Demas as quick as possible. Dart and White Spear, just trying to do as much damage as he can while doing cover strats.
Yeah, good heads-up play to set up the cover strats. With a boss like Demas, who is only going to do physical damage, this is only just a matter of time.
Warlink is making the keyless tower play, continuing the antlion fade.
I still love to see it. I'm still happy. It's not required.
It is not.
I would have preferred that. I would have preferred that Golbez a giant or package or king queen, though.
Well, looks like Cubs is gonna be taking the spoon word for a ride. Oh. Cubs looks like he will be our first of the restream runners to get his crystal if he does the tower key first.
Yeah, this could be tight depending on who and when they pick up go mode. Rybon, having completed that moon, picked up a slight few levels that I think Cubs rule currently doesn't have, but if Cubs goes, I mean, either direction you do this tower, Cubs will be getting the crystal at least right around the same time as Rybon.
Yeah, absolutely. Rybon's getting Baron Key, going to be beelining immediately to that. The question is, does Rybon complete the cutscene?
Yeah, I was just about to ask that of you. I will admit I am terrible at walking back out of Baron. I'm terrible at walking back out of anywhere that I have to walk into.
Yeah.
It is technically faster. Actually, I mean, I think it's about 6 in one hand as long as you can defeat those other bosses, but you do also have the pass in hand, so it's not like you're kind of gambling hoping that you end up with, if you didn't have the pass, I would be more of an advocate for it.
Yeah, I think we had a real big debate about it, I think a year ago when we first came up, is it's faster to get back through here after you clear that Beigen spot. If you don't make any mistakes and you can do it perfectly, it's clearly faster. Now the question is, are you going to be able to do it that way? I know I can't. That's why I will just walk right up to the Baron Throne and sit through the cutscene.
Yeah, 100% agreed. That would probably be my play, particularly with the late game party. And you've seen Golbez, you've seen Wyvern. You know, there's not a fight that would be incredibly slow on the throne, I should say. You know, Golbez, obviously you would be able to get through, but it would be a lot more bonus cutscenes on top of the already long walk down the stairs.
Yeah, and X Pancraz, we have found both Water Hag and the Gauntlet already. So there's not too many bosses, and Dr. Luge as well, another slow boss, and Golbez. So
Harumph also making the brief discovery of not having any black mages means one of the common strats used to set up for Golbez, particularly with Zerkers, is unavailable. Now you can cast Size, and that will preempt the hold that is cast. But with Berserkers, they won't be doing their actual Berserker damage. So what you would much prefer to cast on a Zerker would be Piggy, where they can still actually do their physical damage.
Mm-hmm.
But for Harumph here, it might come down to, you know, with the amount of damage that Golbez is actually going to do to himself, you could probably potentially get away with, you know, just going for the size and letting Golbez do the lion's share.
Yeah, that is one of the few spots where, you know, just sizing the entire party can be beneficial. It does look like Ryben chose to do the backwards walk through the sewer. Cub's rule is cracking eggs, crystal in hand.
Yeah, and we still do not have any finishers in our race room. So Rybon in go mode with the pass and the levels should probably beat Cub's rule into the Z fight. But Cubs roll with plenty of sirens.
Yeah, and also, too, to note, Ryben has 2 adamant armors to really help boost that party up. Cubs is trying to catch up, has 10 key items for these eggs, but is going to be a little bit slower just to get to the fight, but will probably be our second runner on stream in there.
Yeah, this is the right fight for Harumph to set it up with, at least. Unless you fall into the trigger straps.
Yeah. Nah, but we are getting to a point, PK, where we may have a question to ask ourselves as Ryben is turned in the pass and is being teleported all the way to the final boss room.
Yes, all those Z flags in chat coming out are an indication that Zeromus never moves, but always looks slightly different. Oh, there are actual Z flags.
Just took you some coaxing.
I had to passive aggressively manage that. I had to just to get out that strat. But yeah, as Rybon casts the crystal, it is time to ask, who is the butt that we are going to be kicking tonight?
But do we ever ask ourselves, why must we kick the butt?
Someone's got to get through the race, right? I only allow myself to forfeit when someone else is finished. But so many sprites in the pool. I have one my own, which has appeared a couple times.
I actually have
always great.
I have not seen the one sprite that I was able to get in.
Really?
I have not seen it in the wild. Was
it Lotus Miss?
It was not Lotus Miss.
Well, Lotus Miss is the butt, and I think that was Berserk Cecil.
Yes.
7,000, 6,000 to swing from Cecil.
Yeah. That's a Avenger Crystal Sword wielding Cecil. We've got Bacchus and Berserk on Edge and Kane. Slow is out. Cubs rule is not far behind though.
No, not at all. Whose butt are we going to water tonight?
Yeah, and Unless something completely catastrophic goes on here for Ryben, though, I don't think Cubs will be able to catch up to him.
I will say, not that it was in any way likely beforehand, with that Sid deciding to so graciously take the counter nuke, was Sid just relaxing on his back for the remainder of the race. That was maybe the only even remote potential for some sort of issues. Rose ate that counter nuke for some absurdly high roll that maybe would have been a problem, but it doesn't even look like Rybon's that interested in hearing his team.
I don't even think Ryben's holding his controller right now. Still Still no finishers yet. Could Ryben take first place overall in this community race?
It's definitely a possibility. It didn't have the most perfect of routing, but got through everything with relative ease. And Cubs rule not too far behind. Looks like throwing out a Starville, maybe looking to do, or maybe just trying to protect Edward.
There's the rocks for Ryben, though. Should be seeing the crack and the boom here shortly.
And there it is.
Get your GGs in chat for Ryben with an official race spot time of 1 hour, 17 minutes, 30 seconds. First overall on the restream, first overall in the race, and we'll be seeing about getting him in here for an interview.
That plant only blooms for 2.5 to 3 minutes when you have a party that strong.
And I didn't see what happened with Cubs. Did he take a weird nuke or something?
I am not entirely sure, but it sounds like we are joined by Rybon. GG's.
GG's.
Hey, thank you.
So first place, after you went up to that moon, did you think you were going to be holding the top spot at the end of that race?
I normally race with Discord minimized, so when I brought it up halfway through Z, I was shocked that no one else had finished yet, because I didn't feel like I routed that very optimally at all. But happy with the performance, I guess. But yeah, that moon was generally pretty free. If you found that Crystal Sword down in Fey March and you did that easy Yang up there at Murasame on the way down, everything else was pretty much just given to you.
Yeah, you got a lot of XP off that karate fight, and that sort of allowed you to, burn through the rest of it. But yeah, that demist holding the items, I was a little concerned when we saw you drag your hovercraft over to Castle Eblin. Had you run the math, or were you considering that as another opportunity, or did you know that those Magus sisters were there?
I knew that Magus was behind Baron, which is why I did everything other than that demist. And then after turning in that rat tail, I came to the conclusion that I'm going to go for the guaranteed go mode, which is behind demist versus checking the other location, which could have been Giant, could have been King Queen Evelyn, could have been Package. All of those probably take just about as long as following the demist chain, which could have had a twin harp along the way. Ultimately did not. Oh, it did? I guess behind Baron, right?
Yes, it did, and D Lunars was at Twin Harp.
Oh, okay, so that was the correct play. Lucky me.
So yeah, we have Cubs Rule and Warlink both did the demist early. Took a little while, but so Cubs is actually in the Z fight right now. I don't know if you were watching. But yeah, we did see that all 5 bosses in all their locations, and 2 of them are behind that demist.
Which one did people mostly fade? I'm guessing the Ruby at Tower Key?
Well, so far, Harumph is still fading the demist. Everybody's done Warlink has not done the Tower Key because he faded Antlion.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah, how did you feel pulling up that pan, which I had enjoyed your routing up until that point, but You pull that pan after you've already done top of tower and Sheila 1. Was that a little frustrating?
It seems to happen more often than not. I get an early magma. I'm thinking I'm going to go do Sheila 1. I'm then going to delay Fabul until then. And then more often than not, if I do that, there's a pan behind Antlion or behind Fabul defense, and I feel sad. And I felt sad today.
Well, it was a perfect time for you to slingshot that Crystal Sword Cecil at Dwarf. I got a good kick out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting level 1 Cecil to do quad 9s, but I guess the Crystal Sword is pretty powerful.
It goes burr.
Goes burr, and I have exit now, and this is great because Rosa doesn't have exit. I felt a little bad tossing that Porum early for a second Sid, because I'm like, wait a second, how am I going to get exit if I don't find Earth until late? But that worked out.
Yeah, the character choice was less than ideal until we saw that Baron in. I'm kind of hoping you were going to be running like double Sid, double Porum, and a Rosa for longer in that seed, but then Baron in basically was like, here you go, here's your damage.
Here's your damage. You just have to go down to Fame March first to find out that he's your damage.
Right. So first place overall here in the community race, we had 16 runners tonight. How are you feeling about this flag set?
I like it. It's a fun little flag set. If you have to, do Sealed Cave, which I actually wish was an objective, complete Sealed Cave, then you get to enjoy the walking out of shame from, Luca Cave, but didn't have to do it today at least, even though I checked it. But it's a fun flag set.
You walked out of Baron Castle expertly. I have to commend you on that.
I'm still not sure. Is walking out of Baron Castle optimal versus taking whatever that Baron King Throne?
We were debating that. We think that.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you know it perfectly and don't make any mistakes, we think it's faster to walk out. I don't know if anybody's timed it with the beta change.
But I also think it's about the same, assuming that it's not a boss fight that is like overly long.
Right.
Like an All Gauntlet or a Luge or something like that.
Exactly. Which it was CPU there, which you would have gotten through relatively quickly. But yeah, I don't know. It's up for debate, but if it had been something you could have just one shot with Cecil, then it's definitely, I think, right about even. But I do it more often than not because I don't like walking backwards.
Yeah, I never timed it myself. I just see players better than me do it, so I'm like, I'm going to walk out too.
Well, considering you took first place, I think some people are going to be stealing that from you now.
Well, I'm happy to inspire whoever, but I think I got it from either yourself or from Dia.
Well, it's possible. Probably Dia, though. Well, GG's. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, considering PK's propensity for fading Baron, it was probably Dia.
I thought PK faded Antlion. You can't fade two things.
Two varying success. I kept saying I would have been up on the moon really early in that seed, and for how long it took for you to find the bosses, it was definitely not the right play.
Yeah, that early darkness was kind of haunting me for a bit, and then I think around Murasame, I realized, wait a second, I never checked Hobbs.
That was interesting to see when you first got down too.
Yeah.
Yeah, luckily it wasn't necessary, otherwise probably people would have finished a long time ago.
But GG's, any final thoughts?
Nope. Love the seed, love the race, appreciate both of you commentating. Gambit for restreaming. The entire restream crew, appreciate y'all, and I hope to see you next time.
Yep, we will see you next time. Thank you for volunteering and being on the restream force.
Take care.
And that was our first place winner, Ryben, who is celebrating his win. We've got Cubs Rule having a little tough time here with this Lotus Miss. Has taken a wipe or two. So trying to get through it here. We'll see if this round will give him the luck that he needs.
Yeah, it's a decent setup. I think some of that routing, the routing choices prevented Cubs from actually getting those adamant armor pickups, which definitely help in this fight. But we've also had a few finishers in the meantime as well.
Yeah, we have a Stone Dingley came in second place overall with 1 hour 19 minutes 30 seconds. Possum Morpheus with third place with 1 hour 20 minutes and 43 seconds. So GG's to both of them. Fourth place still up for grabs though.
Yep, and I that was this whole Curious required demist. I think we'll see a lot of times coming in at around about the same clip, because I'm not surprised that a lot of people will put that off until the very end, considering, as Ryvon said, that early darkness crystal kind of just hanging over your head.
Yeah, Ike here, our tracker, pointing out Cubs has not even stepped foot on the moon, so doesn't know there's a second Cecil up there. Didn't get the pink tail that was up there from the Crystal Sword altar or the adamant armor on the Murasame altar. So not sure if with Cecil in the middle, I doubt we've also got a cursed ring at play here. So
yeah, and with only the one white mage, sort of this glass cannon that is Spoonward is going to leave you in some precarious positions. If Spoonie goes down, you don't really have the turns to get Spoonie back up. This is why, the comfort of just that beefy, very slow Cid, who can also potentially double as just a chemist, can help you out. Definitely in a rough spot here. Speaking of rough spots, Harumph making the executive decision to head on over. We will find out who is at that queen spot. We know who it's not, but we don't know who it is yet.
Yeah, avoiding that Demus at all possible, hoping to find D Lunar somewhere else. Not sure if Harumph noticed it was Magus Sister at the start or not, but is going to make the play. We've got Warlink, though, is about to find his Golbez.
This will be go mode if Warlink has an adamant armor or two. Oh, he did set up. Or maybe just randomly. Or no, with those size casts out, you would assume has run into this once and is now. This is.
Oh, there's the rock. Cecil dodge, though. Power couple.
Oh, what a god. So that is good news for Cubs rule. That dodge. I think potentially secures it. Yeah. As we have, Pyre has finished in fourth place. And I think we are looking at crack bang here from Lotusmith. So GG to Cubs rule.
Yep, with an official time of 1 hour, 29 minutes, and 0 seconds. GG's the Cubs rule, and we'll see about getting him in here for an interview.
Well, 305,000th of a second. Let's not forget that.
Plumerian, right behind him though. 1 hour, 29 minutes, 32 seconds for sixth place.
Yeah, so I think these duns will start coming in. The whole early moon, as we've sort of shown, Cubs, you could get go mode without going to the moon. But Ryvon also, accurately pointed out that you're going to pick up some good gear. You're going to pick up some good levels by getting through that moon. So while, the argument can be made with maybe a little more aggressive grind and some very early checking of that demist, and that tower key might be the fastest way to go mode, but you can certainly get through a lot with a bonus adamant armor, maybe a second Cecil, a few things along those lines.
Right, and Warlink rewarded with his crystal. We'll see if he goes back to save or if he feels confident in his levels to go take on this Aromas fight. Meanwhile, Harumph is struck out on the King Queen and is checking the Giants.
And it sounds like we are joined by Cubs rule. GG.
GG.
Thank you very much.
How you feel about that one?
Kind of wish I'd remembered that Cecil had a crystal armor on the first time, but other than that, not too upset.
Yeah, I miss why you had to reset out of the first one. We thought maybe it was just a weird nuke or something like that. So
the first one, I was going to try and I was wanting to Avenger Kane so that if I hit a black hole later, I could dart the defense sword. But I forgot about that crystal armor, so can't exactly Bacchus Cecil at that point.
yeah, and that's going to be really required for that fight.
A little bit, yeah, just a little bit. No, that Demist, it was slow, but I mean, obviously, the end it ended up paying out, so I'm not upset with that call at all. Really, this was a, I don't know if I'd even call this a straightforward C. This was just guess right and hope for the best.
Well, to give you some idea of what we've been watching, our tracker, Ikir just pointed out, all three people who on the restream who have the crystal, 3 different combinations of objectives completed. Just to give you an idea.
So where was the Golbez?
Masamune altar.
Aha!
But unfortunately, the moon was also really free with karate, blocking, and adamant armor at Murasame. Another Cecil was up there, and a couple of boss fights that were weak to that crystal sword.
I was hoping to see a second Cecil would have been nice with that freebie second crystal sword, but anyone happen to check out what Forge was?
The flan sword.
Okay. I was secretly hoping there would be an Able Lance and somebody would go do a D machine, but not tonight, unfortunately.
Well, we currently do have Harumph in the giant fighting Antlion at the element spot.
Oh no. Oh no. That fight's just awful.
Well, with the bonus damage, it's certainly not the worst. But yeah, that the Demist play certainly came in handy, and the 4 out of 5 made it kind of interesting because, going to the moon first and having that Golbez meant you didn't have to do that music check, but it certainly paid off to have taken that Demist early.
I thought about getting that. I don't know if getting Ed at the end was the right move, but with the spoon, I wanted to take a shot, and I knew I was grinding anyways, so I figured I'd take advantage of the double XP. Probably should have done another egg or two just to make it a smooth Z fight, but it worked out eventually.
Yep, really well run. Came in 5th place overall, so out of 16. So not a bad finish at all.
No, certainly I'm not going to complain.
Yeah, GG's, well done. It's Eddie's weird, particularly with only one white mage if he doesn't live that first big bang. And you're kind of like, okay, well, you're just gonna sleep.
Yeah, I tried throwing the Star Veil up on him the first couple times just in case the nuke hit him, and well, we saw where those nukes were targeted the whole time. But what you gonna do?
Yep.
Yeah, well, oh, we're saying it at the same time. GG's. Eddie, final thoughts?
No, I just want to say a big thank you to the two of you doing comms, and Akir on tracking, and Gambit. We'll have a talk later.
Oh my. Well, GG's again, really well done. Thank you for volunteering to be restreamed as well.
Thank you. GG everyone else. Have a good night.
I do want to point out very quickly that I believe this is the second time I've done comms in several months, but the last time I did it as well, her absolutely last location to come out.
Well, we did have 7th place with Dragus, 1 hour, 35 minutes, and 25 seconds. So GG's for Dragus as well. We've got Warlink here working through the Lotus Mist as Harumph has the news that, hey, it was Demist all along.
Demas pulls off its mask, and it's Baron Key. Who would have thought? Although, Harumph will not have to do Twin Harp, which I'm sure is not very much solace, but maybe some solace.
Knowing Harumph, that will help heal some of the wounds the seed may or may not have inflicted on him.
And Warlink, with plenty of levels, plenty of damage, decided to keep the 2 white mages. We'll see if Porum can survive an extra round or two. As you pointed out earlier, with similar XP as Rosa got, Porum is about 640 hit points worse off.
Yeah, and she's just Warlink's got the heal queued up. Wait for this big bang and see if it's the big bang or if that was the phase transition. Nope, it's a big bang.
And that is a full one. Oh, both white mages.
Ooh, wow, real high there for Rosa. Can the Crystal Sword Cecil pull this out?
Well, someone might need to dodge.
Yeah.
Cecil? Oh, Cecil took a high roll on that too.
Oh, man.
Sid, dodge it. No, Sid.
Oh, Sid. And Warlink did save after Golbez, so we'll be able to go right back into the fight.
Oh, that Porum. Porum and Rosa. Those big bangs. Those big bangs can roll all sorts of different ways.
Yeah, not sure what the mage gear setup is for those white mages, so would be interested in seeing what gear they are rolling with. We do have, I believe Warlink did do the karate fight.
I think maybe that adamant is on either edge. I want to say it's not on.
Yeah, because Cecil was only going about 5k a hit.
Well, you would assume you would at least, or the meteor might have rolled a little bit less, or you would have gotten a dodge out of Cecil in that situation. But that is the perfect combo platter, as we like to call it, of the big bang directly into tipping into Meteo. Probably one or two poor damage rolls away from not having to eat that big bang. Looks like Rosa is wearing a heroine shirt, which does drop some of her magic defense. It's not incredibly drastic. It does give her more agility, but it does reduce the willpower stat.
Yep, but is feeling confident going right back in. Meanwhile, Harumph has breathed a sigh of relief that was not Demas into Twin Harp into Baron. And will be on his way to those Magus Sisters and getting his crystal. We'll see if he decides to go out via the Baron Throne Room fight or walking out through the sewers.
Maybe Rumpy will have an answer as to which one's faster.
And while we're waiting for the Zaroma fight to get going again, if you haven't done so, please give our runners a follow. They've been doing an excellent job. We've seen a lot of good routing tonight from our runners and pulling off some tough Z fights with these. So please make sure you get those follows out for them.
Yeah, and if you like what you see, if you want to participate, if you have any questions, feel free to join in the Discord. There are always races, beginner races, everything else. And big thank you again to Gambit 017, Ike here, doing our tracking and restreaming, and to you as well, Bad Karma.
PK, is always a pleasure to do commentary with you, interact with you. If you haven't done so, please give the Restream team a follow. Everybody but myself has some good stuff on their streams, so make sure you give them a follow as well. Check them out.
And there it is. Harumph gathers the crystal after traversing the most of the world of any of the runners that we've seen, and is also choosing to walk out.
Feels confident with his backwards routing.
Not confident enough. This is why I don't do it. Oh, Rumpy, no. Rumpy, no.
Oh, Rumpy.
He's just locking himself in the dungeon. He's done. Yep, this is...
There, he's got it.
There, yeah. That's why I don't do this. I don't know how to leave anywhere. And yeah, Whirlink set back up. Just needs, you might even want to throw just one, Cure 4 just randomly out there in the middle just to top off. But knowing that your damage totals are so close to tipping, looks like taking a turn to let Rosa get a bow and arrow shot off.
Yeah, with that heroin robe, it's probably just trying to get as much damage as possible, trying to get anything out.
Yeah, so close before. It can just come down to damage rolls at a certain point. One maybe bonus strength boosting piece of gear could have been the difference there between the combo platter and just tipping straight to media while you're still at full strength.
We do have our 8th place winner. Scythe Marshal has come in at 1 hour, 42 minutes, and 27 seconds. GG's in the chat for them. As more of our runners continue to finish this race, we've got Whirlink working through here on round 2. Rumph gearing up for his first shot at this Aromas, I believe rocking the double adamant armor combo.
Yeah, one potential advantage to doing so much of the seed is you gain experience, life experience, world experience, as well as player actual experience. And those bonus admin armors up there, it certainly will speed along a Zeromus fight for sure.
Couple more runners coming in. Oh wow, there they are. Kinda Nerdy Housewife coming in 9th place, 1 hour 43 minutes 13 seconds. J-Brun TR 10th place, 1 hour 43 minutes 32 seconds. And so get your GGs in chat for them. Oh, there's the flash and boom. That's Whirlink finishing in 1 hour 43 minutes and 34 seconds.
Yeah, and just edging out Tybalt in 11th place by 115 thousandths of a second.
I believe RaceBot has actually awarded a tie there.
You got to click that button faster. You got to really be on it when you see that flash bang come in. But yeah, definitely GG's to Whirlink and to Tybalt. We'll see if we're going to be joined by Whirlink. And I believe, looking at the levels for her Umphere, should be following soon thereafter.
Yep, getting the Zevite. Lotusmus has been revealed, is going to be going in, and probably not going to be too afraid of what Lotusmus will be dealing out here. Yeah, counter nuke coming out, hitting Rosa, but Rosa's got 2,400 HP.
Yeah, not too much to be concerned with. A high roll counter nuke into a big bang, particularly with 2 white mages, isn't going to be that devastating.
And I believe our only runner, Harumph, has the curse ring on that Sid.
I was going to drag Whirlink in.
Well.
So I was hovering on it. We are joined by Whirlink. GG's.
Thanks.
How you feeling about that one, Whirlink?
I gamble on Demas, and Demas was hard required.
Yep, you were the first runner to get through that Demas on our restream. Well done on that fight too, by the way.
Yeah, when I saw that, I was about to exit out because it's like I don't want to handle with Demas, but at that point, it's like I have a Cessa that can do cover stress if stuff goes haywire. And due to a Sid week 2 weeks ago that dealt with Porum and Rosa blinking people up, all that stuff, it's like, you know what? Let's just slog through this and hope this pays off.
And it did. It absolutely, with that chain, getting you 2 required bosses while completing that chain. I know we do have one person in the booth here who was very happy with the Antlion fade.
Oh yeah, that was a thing.
Very proud. Got to commit to it.
Yeah, I'm just basically on hunt modes and just basically focus on areas that has like multiple boss hunts, try to find the last one. By the way, where was Ruby?
Tower key behind the pan, behind Antlion.
And I could have paid him the whole time, but whatever.
I wasn't going to mention it until you asked. Overall, though, you ran really well. You didn't seem to have really any stumbles or anything like that. Everybody ran into that wyvern with the breath. Caught everybody off guard. What were you thinking when you hit ordeals and that was your obstacle to get through?
Try again with different agility setup to see if I can knock it down before the breaths come out. Then went out and then basically say, okay, I have camping gear. I know where star veils are being sold out. Let's just burn them and just take care of wyvern because DKC. I found the DKC. If I go through that, that's a paladin. So let's see. If didn't have any gear. It's just gamble on something. The best I have is like Rune X for the pesky mage bosses and all that stuff. So. That was unexpectedly, but I know how to get through it.
Yeah, it set everybody back maybe one, and then we got to see everybody sort of pull it back together and go back in, which was fun. But yeah, I mean, the early Demas play, like you said, you can get behind in the fight, but it's probably safe enough to get through. And yeah, boy, did that pay off.
Yeah, and I know that Demas is like the only required thing in there, so I don't want to go back to a second fair march if I'm down there. So basically, just gamble. Let's just take care of Demas right here, and hope it pays off. And surely it did.
Well, GG's for me. Karma, any last questions?
No, I don't. Thank you for volunteering to be restreamed. It was a pleasure watching you and commentating on the race for you.
Yeah, thanks to you too. Thanks for restreaming and roll one interesting seed and Iker for pressing on the buttons. Even though I finally hit 10 keyons before going to the moon, but buttons are buttons.
Yeah, it was close. GG's.
GG's.
And the Rump slowly makes their way towards the Restream 1 channel. GG's, Rump. I think this is the second straight time that I've done commentary where you have pulled the last check giving you go mode.
Well, second last check. I guess I never checked the package, so.
Fair enough. Well done.
Nobody checked the package on the restream, actually.
So I have no idea if the learners happen to be there, but
it was at the Harp.
Well, it's a good thing here that D-Mist had the that was Baron into Harp then.
Yeah.
Otherwise, well, we'd be having a very different discussion.
I was saying on the broadcast that Harp was not going to end up being required for you, which is some solace to take.
Well, it was a sloppy race in general, so.
Yeah, everything sort of opened up really early, and then it took us a while, but then we saw that, it happened to be that very available Demus, but not necessarily quick Demus that everyone saw had, was 100% required.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I knew it was there. I was just trying to, skirt around it for a little bit. That's all. When I saw that here, the party wasn't really strong enough here to make it a worthwhile fight. Here, I didn't have a Moonveil at that time here to make it free. So it's like, I just don't necessarily want to slog that one out right away, and then it just got pushed to the back burner. That's all.
Yeah, definitely one of those where, you see it, you put it off. You have Darkness Crystal in hand already at this point. You have plenty of other checks that you can make. And then, heading up to the moon with all of those potential boss spots, definitely, I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of people routing that in last.
Yeah, just a guessing game at that point here, and you didn't get this correctly today, but there's other parts of the fight, of the execution I didn't particularly care for, so it is what it is.
Yeah, setting up for that Golbez fight did not go your way.
No, I should have just used the sign to begin with here, knowing that was a tricker. Which would have made that the setup a little easier here to just get it down to 2 here. So it's less cutscene if I lose the coin flip.
The dragons just wanted to help you out.
Yeah. Now, had it gone top down here, it would have been a lot easier because with the adamant armor, but.
Yeah, that was how Rybon routed it, and it certainly came in handy. Finding that Golbez at a spot where you do not want to have to risk eating any of those attacks.
Yeah, top down was definitely the play if you're going to do the moon here to make it easier. Again, guessing game at that point here, because knowing here that the Mega Sisters was behind Baron Keys, I'm going to be fighting all the bosses at this point. You're trying to find that a Baron Key for a guaranteed go mode. Once you take down the Golbez, right? So, and we don't find it here is like, all right, what other cheeky checks do you want to check before seeing if it's required harp? So,
well, I was curious. Yeah, or go ahead, Carmen.
I was just saying no required harp. So we did wonder. Did you notice if it was the Magus Sisters at the start? Because we both missed it.
Yes, right away. Right away. On the other hand, forgetting who was at the back of Dwarf Castle and all that here, I'll forget those. But I remembered Mega Sisters at the very beginning. Yeah, I was looking for a Baron Key the entire way.
Yeah, it did lead to some opportunities. Well, if it hadn't been double required to cheekily go as you did to like Giant or King Queen. Just unfortunately, we knew that none of those were going to be, another path to go mode and skip that demist.
Yeah, it's in terms of metagame, it's tough to metagame with a Crystal Sword here because the Crystal Sword answers a lot of the objectives very cleanly. Dealer's Golbez here, knowing that Dealer's was out there here with a Crystal Sword here, that boss could be anywhere here because with that sort of firepower here, yeah, that can be done pretty much at any boss location pretty easily. So you're checking everything at that point.
Yeah, absolutely. Nobody wants to do that demist, before they feel like they're ready to and have to. And that was, it was definitely a wide range of skill being displayed on here, and when people felt ready to do it. So otherwise, I didn't think you routed it bad at all. You just the rando didn't go your way this time.
Routing is routing here. Yeah, the exclusion wasn't clean enough here. There's an upcoming tournament coming up here. I don't know if I'm going to be entering the tournament yet. I'm still undecided. If I do here, it's going to have to clean things up a little bit here if I want to be competitive.
Plenty of time to work on it. GG's again. Any last thoughts?
Thank Thank goodness it wasn't a required harp. So thank you to Reacher Gambit here for rolling a quote unquote compliant seed. Shout outs as well here to Tracker Ike here behind the scenes, and as well as our commentary team, Bad Karma and PK 4787, otherwise known as Ultimate God Slaver 5788. If I believe the numbers are correct. So
You got it.
See, it just rolls right off the tongue.
Yeah, it's so
Somehow,
easy to
yeah.
remember.
Anyways,
Well,
have a great night.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Ruffy. I will let you take us home. I believe we have a raid target, but thank you, Bad Karma, for joining me in the booth, and to the rest of our team, I'll leave that up to you.
Yeah, thank you, PK 4787, Gambit 017 for doing the restream, Ike here doing the tracking. Please, if you have not done so, give the runners a follow, give the restream team a follow. We may be done here on Free Enterprise, but we are not done with Free Enterprise. We are going over to Kedril, who is doing some tournament flag practice. We do have our next event coming up here soon, so if you're interested in that, go ahead and check out Kedril's stream as we raid on over there. And for everybody else, we'll see you over there, and y'all have a good night.